All right, Matt. Well, coming down the home stretch here of season four, looking like, including this one, three, maybe two, depending. We'll see. Um, but at least two remaining, probably three. We'll see how this weekend goes. But yeah, coming down the home stretch here, on the season, got the conference finals wrapping up, and pretty much just got our finals preview now to take a look at basketball wise, and then that would be it for season four.
And the
And this
podcast.
and the podcast for the foreseeable future. So we'll try to finish strong here. Um, and yeah, give our best basketball takes. Guessing like the last one, since we won't talk about it for a while, we'll give some crazy predictions for baseball, football, that stuff, and like that would be our future projected stuff out. Um, but yeah, we'll get to that stuff. It'll be probably the full length show for the last one, but this one and probably the next one will be a little bit shorter just because it's just previews and we're not recapping anything necessarily. So um yeah, but let's get into our finals breakdown. But we'll start with kind of breaking down the overall conference finals for each side. Guess we can start with the Thunder because that one was a little less dramatic on the West side of things. Pretty much just, I mean, outside of one game, completely dismantled.
It was complete
Uh,
domination,
yeah, complete
literally.
domination. So, I mean, the Thunder, I think they kind of showed everyone that, yeah, last year, right? They were really talented, but they were young. But I think they've shown now that they've kind of grown from that team last year, added, new pieces, some veteran guys, and this core has really panned out really well for this Oklahoma City team. And yeah, man, like they just made it look easy. I mean, Minnesota beat a, beat the Lakers and then kind of ran through Golden State, albeit without Steph. But I thought, maybe like Ant takes that next step. This team looked poised. Julius Randle had been playing really well throughout the entire playoffs. But when it came down to the Thunder, like they just had no answer for that defense. I mean that this Thunder defense is legit. Um, Young, aggressive. They got guys to anchor the paint, really good wing defenders, on ball pressure, different schemes that they can throw at you, but they're just so good individually that they don't need to like really drop to a zone or like do anything like that. Menaces on the ball, like Lou Dort and Alex Caruso are
Caruso,
just menaces. Um,
Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams himself, I mean, Shea's not a bad defender either, right? So you kind of couple all that together, and it's like, yeah, this is a really scary and complete team. Uh, then they just kind of put it together outside of one, I don't want to say fluky game, but one game where honestly the Thunder were just off and Minnesota was just on fire. It was like you said, Matt, it was easy. And I don't want to say it's like different from, Denver or even Golden State for the previous years, but I think there's something about this Thunder team that's just scary if I'm anyone in the Western Conference, right? Obviously the age, but we'll see how the whole contract situation comes to play out. What do they call it? Like the second, not window, but there's like there's like a term for the contracts, like when they hit that second contract after the rookie one.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, Shea's gonna get. I mean, I would imagine he's going to become the highest paid player in NBA history this summer. But you also got Chet and Jalen Williams, so it'll be interesting. But as of right now, like it has potential. I would say potential dynasty, especially with the picks that this front office has accrued over the years too. So it's like maybe they can, I can't believe it, but like maybe they can even afford to let some of their core guys go because, they're going to have new pieces coming in. So it just, I mean, all really has come together for Oklahoma City, and this plan that Sam Presti's had for this team over. I mean, really going back what like since that KD trade kind of like kicked everything off, right? Um,
I wouldn't even
or I
say
mean,
the
I guess not
KD
not
trade. It was
trade,
like
but
Harden.
yeah, the Harden trade, yeah, kicked everything off. So the master plan is all coming together for OKC, and I mean, I only know a few Oklahoma City Thunder fans, but yeah, I'd be feeling pretty good if I was you guys because you have a easily top five player in the league, really good young core, really good coach, I think, and a really good front office that knows how to operate and or operate in the draft and in free agency, as we've come to see, right? So yeah, it's a little bit scary for teams out west. We said how competitive it was at the beginning of the season, right? It was like, oh, who can win the West? It's anyone's, to grab Dallas. We thought Minnesota. We thought LA. All these teams and OKC just completely ran away with it. So, I mean, kudos to them for making it this far. Obviously, season's not over yet, but I think if you're a Thunder fan or anyone in that organization, you're liking how things have come together thus far. So we'll see if they can kind of take it home, Matt. But yeah, made it look easy. In the series itself, obviously Thunder really impressive, but I think a little bit disappointing showcase from Anthony Edwards and the rest of that Thunder team because I mean we saw it last year.
That's why I picked the Thunder to win.
Yeah, but we saw it last year. Um, had really impressive series win over Denver, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's someone finally dethroned Denver. Um, we'll see, how far they can go, and then they run into Dallas, who's kind of a buzzsaw, right? Luka just went insane. Obviously, that team really, really good, but it's kind of like, you can understand last year, right? But it's like, okay, they've learned from that. Two really good series wins. Um, the whole team's playing well, and then just got kind of stifled by the defense, and really had no answer. And I just thought like Anthony Edwards, it's good to see him, trying to make the right play and make these winning plays. But like I was saying, Matt, I feel like there's a certain point where when you're the guy, like you just need to find a way to get it done. Albeit I mean, you kind of forget, but Anthony Edwards is only what 23 years old, right? So he's still extremely young, has a ton of time to develop and take his game to the next level. But maybe it's just because the stars these days are getting younger and younger, right? We expect more out of them earlier. But realistically, like you think about it, dude is only 23 years old. Um, has gotten better every single year, right? Like this year, 3-point shooting, obviously he was the best 3-point shooter in the regular season this year. So it's like, yeah, as much as you would like to see that step from him, kind of puts things in perspective where it's like, okay, yeah, he's been in the league a while, he's been around these guys, but I mean, dude is literally only 23, hasn't even hit really his prime yet. So I think I still expect big things from Minnesota. Interesting to see if they change up that roster at all, or if it's just about finding ways to play come playoff time. I don't know. I think they might need like
I
a
think they need to change it
second.
up.
I think they need a second. I don't want to say
They need a
star,
number
but
two. They
but
need a
I
number
mean,
two.
and Julius Randle, like talented, all-star capability, um, but not quite. I think that dynamic number two that you're looking for. Uh, to me, they need someone that is really elite at either creating for themselves or being that second, almost like second playmaker, right? Um, hard to put a name out there because I mean, I think Shams reported it. I don't know if it was last week or recently, but he's anticipating, and we keep hearing like this is going to be one of the craziest off seasons
I
in
hope
NBA
so.
history. Like we just keep hearing that over and over. So kind of hard to say who's gonna be on what team by the end of the summer. But yeah, man, I think maybe this team has hit its ceiling, right, with this roster as it's currently constructed. Obviously, still really good defensively, I think, with Gobert anchoring the middle and guys like Jaden McDaniels and Nikhil Alexander Walker, even Anthony Edwards' defense, stepped up a lot. Um, I just think that yeah, maybe it's time to try to find a new formula, surround Ant with different pieces because I think we've seen the peak that this team is going to reach. And yeah, I think that it's time. I think you're right. I think it might be time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be this person, but I'm just throwing a little rumor out. But I think KD actually, well, granted, KD fits in basically every system, but I feel like KD in Minnesota would be interesting because, a guy like McDaniels, KD, Gobert, even like very lengthy, basketball players. Obviously, I think the connection with Ant and KD, kind of like the idol and the guy looking up to the legend. But really, it's more of just KD is just he just fits in basically every system. But we saw with how Minnesota plays this year, and at least how Ant was playing. Okay, he's gonna make that next level. He's not gonna shoot 30, 35 shots a game sometimes. He's gonna maybe shoot 10 times a game at some point, but he'll get 10, 12 assists in a game. But that's because they're taking the ball out of his hands. So, what better guy if you're gonna double Anthony Edwards? It's not Jaden McDaniels or Mike Conley or Alexander Walker. Oh yeah, let me go dish it out to Kevin Durant. Probably the best one-on-one scorer in the NBA for the last what 12, 15 years that he's been in the league. So I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but like someone like that is what they need. Like Julius Randle, I just think he's shown over time. It's just this. It's like just when you think he's like, wow, he's playing really well, he just kind of takes you back to reality a little bit, where it's like he's a good player, but he's not a great player. Like like that superstar next tier level. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's not a knock against Julius Randle, but I think it's more just the construction of the roster. If he's a number three, maybe that's maybe more ideal. But I think the pressure of him being a second tier option, I don't know if you can win with him, to be honest, in that aspect.
Yeah, I agree. So, like I said, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I think Ant is the only untouchable player on that team. So we'll see how the summer shakes out, Matt. It was a good run. I do think Minnesota is somewhat close, but you're right. I think close isn't good enough, right? It's championship or bust for I'd say most of the teams in the league. So maybe it's time to start looking at a not a rebuild, but a reset.
Retool.
And yeah, retool or reset. Yeah. Um, but that's kind of how the West shook out. The East was a little more interesting, at least. I know you got your prediction right. I had the Knicks, you had the Pacers. And I mean, it kind of played out more or less how you said it would, right? Just Indiana just has New York's number, I think, and a little bit of that lack of attrition probably came back to bite them in the end. Um, but I thought overall, um, hard to really knock. I think Jalen Brunson, I thought he played well throughout the series, right? Still hit some big shots, but I think we just saw that the depth of this Pacers team really came in, and just how they're constructed. They're a really solid like team. I don't think anyone is necessarily thinking like their five is more talented, right, than the Knicks five. But I think we just saw like how um, Indiana plays and the chemistry that they have together, right? It's almost like um, no one's afraid to like shoot, right? It's that whole Rick Carlisle offense, and they push and they run, and it's okay. Let's get up a shot, right? And I just think that eventually it just wore on New York a little bit, honestly. But guys not afraid to take shots, and I think it gets them in a little bit more of a rhythm, right? And even that last game, we saw Indiana kind of set the pace. I mean, they were at home, right? New York obviously wants to take things a little slower, but when Indiana gets out and runs and converts, like New York almost has no choice but to trying to play catch up and you know go back and forth, back and forth. But that's exactly what the Pacers want to do to you, right? So um, I thought it was a really well deserved win for the Pacers. Um, Pascal Siakam winning MVP was honestly, like when you really think about it, not that shouldn't have been that surprising. He was the guy I know you talked about in your kind of prediction, but he was like that solid, steady anchor piece for this team. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing about Tyrese that we've seen now multiple times. Like he shows up in clutch moments, right? We've seen it. Yeah, I mean, look at this playoff run, right? The shots that he's been hitting in these clutch situations, but he'll have a game or two where it's not there, right? Like he's not as aggressive, not trying to look to score, or he's kind of off a little bit.
It's like
So
Ant. It's like Ant.
yeah, yeah. But on the flip side, like Pascal, it was like you knew what you were going to get from him every single night. And that's just that's a solid number two, I think, because you kind of know what you're gonna get out of him, right? There's no like he's not gonna. I mean, he has a capability of obviously dropping 30, but you know what you're gonna get out of him every night. You're gonna get high level defense, and the ability to score. So shout out to him. I mean, NBA champ. He knows what it takes to get there. Uh, I would say probably one of the more underrated players in the league at the moment. Maybe it's just because he went to Indiana, right? In that little bit smaller of a market. But yeah, I thought very deserving Eastern Conference Finals MVP for him. And then, on the flip side, talk about Jalen Brunson, but Andrew Nemhard and Aaron Nesmith, I thought like their defense throughout the series was huge, especially like Nemhard on Jalen Brunson. I thought, yeah, Jalen, he still got to his spots and he still put up points, but you could see he was working like the entire series. He had to work to get open for those shots. And Indiana's defense, I think, crazy enough, was look a little bit better, like honestly, than the Knicks, who have really good defenders themselves. But um, yeah, I thought it was a good matchup for Indiana in the end, and they executed better in those winning situations, right? And now, really, just looking back at how big was that game one, man? I mean, really, right?
Yep. We would have had a game seven tonight.
Would have had a game seven. And just kind of crazy how this Knicks Pacers rivalry still to this day has lived up to the hype. Now giving us one of the most iconic moments in the Eastern Conference Finals history. So yeah, Matt, very deserved for Indiana. But I mean, they're just a really solid team. Like they got guys. They're all, bought into their system. They know how to play. I think that's what's gotten them this far. It's like the
They're
chemistry that
scrappy
they
too.
have. They're scrappy, they play hard, they don't give up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Uh it's not like you hear these names, oh, Aaron Neesmith or oh, Nemhard. It's like it's not going to scare you, but right, that's why there's five guys out there on the court at the same time, and they just seem to buy into their system. They know how they want to play. They're all, on the same page most of the time, and I think the biggest thing is like no one's afraid to like take that shot. Could be Nemhard, could be Neesmith, could be Miles Turner, right? Uh, Siakam, even like a Obi Toppin off the
McConnell.
bench. McConnell's not afraid to shoot. Matherin's not afraid to shoot, right? Like it's there's like no fear. Like they play so free. Um, and I think that's a testament to Rick Carlisle and his staff too, for influencing in this kind of system. So really well deserved for Indiana. And then on the flip side, Matt, like we talked about the Wolves, the Knicks now, that's twice where, yeah, okay, we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, but knocked out by Indiana once again, right? I don't know, it's like the Lakers and Denver or whatever, but um, I don't know. Do you think that it's time for a change up to New York, or do you think something is written on the walls to say, okay, we're close, we're still just a few pieces away? Or is it like Minnesota where we've kind of seen their ceiling as, this Tom Thibodeau style team?
I would say they're a little different than Minnesota because if you went into the beginning of the season, and you said, well, I think the Knicks are going to be, in a sense, a couple games away from the NBA Finals, I would be like, what? Like, okay, obviously Boston coming in, defending champs, like they're obviously going to be there, I would think. And then in the beginning of the season, and really throughout the whole regular season, Cleveland was literally dominating the East against everybody. So it was like, well, Cleveland and Boston are on a collision course. One of those two guys, they'll win in 7 games and they'll go to the finals. Like if you're the Knicks, Pacers, like you're thinking, well, if we win our first round game, we'll probably get knocked out in the second round. Yeah, that's kind of what everybody expected. So I think the Knicks in particular, because they beat Boston, that was kind of like that. They can do it because they were beating Boston with a healthy team. Like Porzingis, a little nicked up, but they were healthy. Jason Tatum was healthy really for majority of the series, and they were beating them. So I wouldn't panic too much, but I do think this Indiana series shows a little bit of where they can kind of, add a few pieces because when you play a young team like Indiana, running and gunning, and you're Tom Thibodeau and you like to play 5 guys on the court, 40 minutes a game, an entire 82 game regular season and in the playoffs, kind of wears and tears on you a little bit, as the season goes on, especially in the playoffs. So I think their core is there and it's good enough to contend with anybody. But you look at teams like OKC or Minnesota or Indiana. Heck, you could say even like Cleveland. Like they're all young stars in a sense and young role players. Like you got to be able to keep up with this new kind of fast paced style of play. So I think it's more they need to add depth. I think just a couple pieces on the bench, and I think they'll be fine because they have bigs. They got good bigs. They got good wings. I think obviously Brunson as the head of the snake is perfectly capable of being that guy. I think so. I think it's just more Thibodeau. Maybe don't run your guys into the ground so
Mhm.
much, and use guys like Deuce McBride. Use guys like DeLon Wright. Use those guys a little bit more going into next season because I really think they're right there. Like if Halliburton doesn't make that shot, the Knicks might game 7 at home. They might be in the finals, and we would have a different tone. So I really think they're they're not like Minnesota. Like they're like 1 or 2 pieces away from being right back here next year. I really do think that.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was a good season for New York. All the celebrities got involved, but sorry, Timmy. Like it had to come to an end, and unfortunately, Pat is gonna have the last laugh uh, with
Ooh.
that one. So yeah.
Pat and
Okay.
was it John Halliburton?
Oh
right?
yeah,
Tyrese is dead.
Tyrese is dead. Yeah. Um, but hey, I mean, the rivalry's back. I don't think there's any doubt in that. Um, so that's always fun for the game. But let's get to our finals preview now, Matt. Had some time to digest, think about our stances. I've been seeing some of the odds come out, and it's obviously OKC is the favorite, heavy favorite. But I don't know, like I think the series is gonna be closer than people think. Um, at least the games too. Like, you know, people have kind of counted out the Pacers in every series that they've been in thus far, right? Um, but I mean, they've shown that they're tough, like you said, they're resilient, and they're never out of it with how they play, how they operate their offense. They're never out of a game. So I think it'll be better than what people think, but I'm curious to hear your predictions. We'll just start with the classic. Who's gonna win
Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win and how many
and
games?
how many games?
Hmm. Okay, well, based on your opening statement, it seems like I don't know. You're saying Indiana or OKC in a pretty long series, I'm gonna say, but I'm just going off of the gut feeling right now. I think OKC in a gentleman's sweep. I think that's even yeah. I say gentleman's sweep for OKC. So OKC in five, obviously with them being the home court team. But I'm looking at it more. It's more of the similar analysis what I did with Shea and I just think Tyrese and Shea like I feel like the role players almost kind of similar in a sense. Like they got good wings for both teams. Miles Turner kind of anchors the paint. Hartenstein's kind of that body that can kind of go play physical. Chet and Pascal kind of like those lengthy fours. Pascal maybe a little better consistent scorer, but Chet is still very capable of giving you 20, even sometimes 30 if he gets hot. Um, but I really just do think sometimes let's just keep it simple. I know what I'm gonna get with Shea. He's gonna get you maybe people are not gonna like it because he's gonna shoot 15 free throws a game, but he's gonna get you 25, 30 a game. You know that he's gonna give you that. Tyrese, I don't know. Like he showed it in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, oh yeah, like when he's on, he can be, dangerous, but you mentioned it. There's one or two games where it's just like, bro, what do you like? You took like seven shots the entire game, really? Like, and this is after you come out and you score, 30 points the other day and you have a big second half. Like, where's the momentum, the consistency? And I just think when it comes to the finals and, being a LeBron James fan, I know what consistency looks like with that. Like that dude literally, you knew what you're going to get when you're watching LeBron in the finals going up against the Spurs or the Warriors, like you have to give that kind of effort to win the finals. And I'm not sold on Tyrese. I really am not on that consistent level. And I think OKC is just too good to have those kind of lackluster performances. Because if Tyrese doesn't do Tyrese Halliburton things, meaning the good Tyrese, OKC is going to blow them out by 20 plus. I really do. I have that eerie feeling because you look at Game 7 they played against Denver. Uh, even Game 5 against the Timberwolves, it's like when they smell blood in the water and they're close, like they're they're going for the kill. So I just think, yeah, they'll defend home court. They'll somehow steal one in Indiana, and they're gonna feel, wow, we got a chance to close out at home. We're gonna we're gonna come out for the kill. So I just think this is their year and this is their time.
Man, I I was going back and forth with this. Man, this is tough. Like, obviously, my brain is telling me to take the Thunder because it's like the obvious choice. Their defense is really good, right? Like I said, elite defenders on the perimeter, Hartenstein and Chet holding down the paint. Like it's tough. Um, I don't know. I think this one goes 6 or 7. Like I really do think that, and I think there'll be some close, like nail biting games. I think it's going to be a really fun finals to watch, actually. Um, I, you know what? I'll just say for the heck of it, I'll go Pacers. Pacers in 6 games, man. I think they steal one. I really do think they steal one um of the first two in Oklahoma City. They've been proven to be a pretty good road team. I think they take two at home, drop game 5, and then win it all in Indiana. And
Mm,
it's crazy because like that's not the script that anyone wants, like except for Pacers fans. Honestly, like I don't think the league wants that. I think they want Shea to be kind of one of the,
Face of
elite
the league.
players, face of the league potentially, right? MVP goes on to win. Okay. It looks like OKC is going to be good for a while, so that, puts them on a pedestal. Like, I don't know if the league wants Indiana to win. I don't think it's as sexy of a storyline necessarily, but it'll drop some very interesting conversations if, Tyrese and this squad can pull it off. Because then where does that put Tyrese Halliburton? Where does that put a guy like Pascal Siakam, right? Like, I think some conversations are going to need to be had um, about the Pacers and their players. So yeah, maybe like it's a little bit delusional, and it's just kind of what I've been seeing recently. But I just think that, they can kind of match up really well with, or maybe not match up well, but I think they're going to catch the Thunder a little bit off guard with how fast they play. I think the Thunder will adapt, right? But I just think really good half court defense from OKC, right? Like that's how Minnesota played. They don't get out and run with Rudy and Randall, right? Like they just don't get out and run like that. And when OKC can kind of sit there and set their defense, right? Like I said, they're really good on ball defenders, but I don't know. I think when they're out running and getting just shots up quick, that maybe that Thunder defense isn't going to be as effective as we've seen it. So that's kind of like my saving grace on the situation because on paper, like you're right, I think it should be a gentleman's sweep or the fairly easy series win for the Thunder. But maybe I'm just keeping some optimism that it'll be an entertaining series, and I'll cheer for the upset. Uh, I'd rather have the team come out of the East, I guess. And I just think it'd be hilarious if the Pacers win the finals. Like that would just be
That would
hilarious
be
to me.
funny. That
It would
would
just
be
be
funny,
funny.
actually.
So yeah, maybe I'll just root for a little bit of chaos. And yeah, we'll see. But off of that, Matt, I guess X Factors, if you want to get into, yeah, I guess you'll do one for the Thunder and I'll do one for the Pacers.
Ooh, X Factors. I mean, I have a very wide range of X Factors. You gave me a lot of heat, I think, for the Super Bowl when I said
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts is an
yeah. I
X
hate,
Factor.
oh my God. I think
But
you
he
need to look up
was.
what the definition of an X Factor is, man.
He
Someone you're
was.
not expecting. Jalen Hurts literally touches the ball in every single offensive play. How can he be an X Factor? I'm so sick of that. I'm done with you. If you come out and say like Shay, forget it. We're moving on. We're skipping it.
No, well, weirdly, okay, obviously Shea, Tyrese, they're gonna have to be stars. Pascal, Jalen Williams slash Chet, kind of your number two, your Robbins, but
Hmm.
I look at it more as I think Lou Dort needs to be an X factor here offensively because I know what you're going to get defensively, but if
Hmm.
Lou Dort struggles from the field, it's like he's I don't want to say unplayable, but you can really kind of scheme around that defensively, meaning you got extra help because you don't have to shadow Lou Dort so much. I think for him, if he just has to make open threes, just be consistent offensively, and that just makes everybody else's job that much easier. Because I really think it's all about how can you get an edge on the defensive side of the ball because both teams are young, athletic, and if you have one guy that's just like cold or he doesn't have it, especially a non-shooter. Like obviously, like okay, if Shea is having a rough game, you're not gonna just shade off a Shea and just say, well, let's see if he can make an open three. Like no, you're not gonna do that. But a guy like Lou Dort, who can be streaky at times, sometimes really bad, something to look out for. I think defensively because I think the Pacers could use that to their advantage to in a sense almost trap Shea and really get the ball out of his hands and really test. Hey, Jalen Williams, hey, Chet, can you guys give us 25 a game here from both of you? Because Lou Dort's not hitting shots and we ain't going to let Shea beat us. So I think Lou Dort offensively is going to be a huge thing to keep an eye on for the Thunder.
Okay, I think uh on the flip side, I think it's got to be Andrew Nemhard because I think that on paper, he's not going to match up with Shea. It's going to be Tyrese and Shea, but I think you got to have Nemhard a majority of the time on Shea. Like he he really gave Jalen Brunson a tough time, and I think like Jalen and Shea play that kind of similar,
Shea's
play
bigger though.
style. Shea is bigger, you're right, but that same kind of get to your spot. It's like the like Luca, Harden, Shea, Brunson. They all have that same kind of like lull you to sleep, and next thing you know, I'm at the mid range, for a shot. Obviously, Shea's so good at drawing fouls, but so is Jalen Brunson, right? And I think if there's one thing Andrew Nemhard has learned, it's how to play against that style of offense. Like you said, though, Shea is what, like 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". Jalen Brunson, I don't know whatever he's listed at, but he's shorter. I guarantee he's shorter than what he's listed at, whatever he's listed at. But I do think that gives, like a little bit of, you know, not an advantage, but it helps a little bit, I think. But we'll see. Because I don't think I'd be comfortable putting Tyrese on Shea as the primary defender for a
Or
majority of the
Naismith.
series.
I would use him because he's a little
Naismith,
more
yeah,
stocky.
right. But I mean, I don't know. I think Nemhard is their best kind of on ball guy. Neesmith too, like he's really good, but I mean, someone's got to have to guard Jalen Williams too, and I don't think that can be Tyrese either. Like Tyrese is gonna have to sit on Lou Dort the whole time, or something like that. Because yeah, I'm not putting him. I'm letting him expend more of his energy on offense than on defense, right? So, and then like Chet will go against Pascal,
Pascal.
and then Turner and Hartenstein. Those are all fun matchups,
Yeah,
but
they're just
in
gonna
my
bang
opinion,
down low.
yeah, in my opinion, it's got to be Andrew Nemhard and his defense, and be able to play defense without fouling. That's gonna be. We'll see. Like his foul count every game will be the most important for Indiana. I think.
Mm.
If he's at two or under by the end of the first half, like of every game, you're okay. But if he gets to three before halftime, it's like, oh man, Shea's gonna see that and he's gonna smell blood in the water, right? With how good he is and how crafty he is, and then they're gonna have to switch someone else, and I just think
Gotta
it's
put
not gonna be,
Shepard, Ben Shepard,
yeah, or
McConnell.
someone. Maybe you just gotta throw bodies at Shane. Maybe that's gonna be the recipe for success for Indiana. But Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad you gave an actual X factor this time. And you didn't say like Jalen Williams is gonna be an X factor. It's like, oh my God, so sick of that. Um,
Hey, Jalen Hurts is an X factor because Saquon Barkley is the number one guy on that team.
no, because a quarterback can't be an X factor, man. Like your whole
No,
premise
but
is
if
off
he's not
just
the
based on
best,
that.
he's not the best
No,
player
no,
though.
no, no, no,
He's not
no.
the best
See,
player.
it's not even about the best. It's about impact.
Like if I said Patrick Mahomes is an X factor, that's different. He's the best
If
player
Pat
on the Chiefs.
they touch the ball, never mind. I'm not gonna get into this with you. It's just a waste of time.
What if
But
I said Cooper Rush was an X factor? He's a quarterback.
he can't be an X factor.
Why not? He's not the best player.
That's it. It's not about being the best player. I'm so sick of you. We're moving on. Um, okay, implications, legacy talks. Let's just get. We don't have to spend too much time on this, but it is something interesting. Um, I think if the Thunder win, right, that will kind of. I think it'll be interesting because it will essentially lay out the blueprint. I think a new blueprint of how you can win um, through young talent, right? Really young talent. But as far as it goes for Shea's legacy, um, I mean, it'll take him to that upper echelon of superstars, I think, right? And he's only, 26 years old. Like we're born the same year as him. So he still just seems like he's hitting his prime, right? Obviously he's averaged 30 for like the past 3 years, but seems like he's taken that step to figure out how to win. And I think that's the scary part, right? If you're anyone in the West or really even the league, because we've seen over and over, there's guys with talent, guys that can be top 10 in this league. But when it comes to making the winning plays, you know, it, that's not a tall task, or that's a tall task for anyone to accomplish, right? I mean, hell, Jason Tatum got a ring, but he wasn't even the Finals MVP, right? So we know how his legacy kind of got affected by everything. But I think for Shea, it might mean a little bit. I don't want to say a little bit more, but I think whenever you can couple the MVP and a ring in the same year, that just does something for your legacy in and of itself, right? Because when you look back, it's going to be like, oh, Shea won the MVP and, you know, uh, the finals that year and presumably the finals MVP, right? But then people aren't going to remember Chet was a hell of a player, Jalen Williams was a hell of a player, Alex Caruso was a defensive menace, but they're going to see and remember, oh, yeah, that was Shea's MVP year where he won that, knocked off Jokic, ran through the West, and got the finals ring, right? So I think it'll put him in an interesting, conversation. I don't know where exactly he'll be, but he'll be at least in that realm with like Giannis, with Tatum, right? About with these, it's hard to say younger stars, but join that group with the ring, right? Jokic, Giannis, Tatum, and Shea. Like we'll see, and then it's going to become okay. Who's going to get the second one from that group, right? But yeah, I think it'll take Shea to that kind of next level of superstar status.
Yeah, I feel like, well, on the flip side, if Halliburton wins it, I feel like there's just still going to be questions.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
that's just my opinion, but it's like, well, he didn't play Boston or he didn't play Cleveland. Well, he did play Cleveland, excuse me, but he didn't play Boston. Like I feel like the inconsistency was still there. It's not like, when you see like Giannis, when Giannis had his run, Giannis was dominant, like literally just a straight out beast. Like every game, putting up triple doubles. Jokic in his finals run, almost eerily similar, triple doubles. Granted, Jamal Murray was a good Robin too, but guys like that, right? It's just wow, they were like really impressive consistently through. And I just think with Halliburton, it's going to be great. And he's going to be like, yeah, well, I got the ring. But people like maybe me or somebody like that is going to be like, well, but look at when you played in this series and this series. It's like, how can you score 30 in one game and then the next game you come out, you take 7 shots and you score 6 points? Like, if you're that dude, like you can't, you it just can't be that much of a roller coaster. And it's just maybe it's because I'm LeBron. I'm a LeBron guy, and this LeBron is literally he's been consistent as it is since the day he's been in the league. You just know what you're getting from him. Even at 40 years old, he's still putting up. He was literally carrying the Lakers in one game. Scored like 38 points on the road. Literally was the reason why they're in the game because Luka was sick. I think that game. So maybe it's just being a little biased, but I still think Halliburton, even with the win, yeah. I will say though, if he wins Finals MVP and he has a steady series, it might be different. It might be
Yeah,
different.
I don't know, Matt. I'm almost opposite of that. Like I think if he just wins, like because we that's what we've kind of equated it all to, right? Like especially maybe it's the conversations that NBA Twitter likes to have nowadays, right? Talk about Joel Embiid, how great of a player he is. Never been to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? That's a knock against him, right? It really is. Tatum before he won the ring, it's like, yeah, he's so good, but
Tatum doesn't have the finals.
couldn't get it
Everyone's
done.
holding that against
And
him
now he
now.
doesn't have the Finals MVP, right? But um, I think yeah, maybe you can't. It's not going to catapult. I'm not saying it's going to catapult Tyrese to top five player in the league. Maybe not even the top 10 player in the league. But I do think you can't go without saying the level of success he's had individually in clutch moments. Like maybe he will just be a generational playoff riser, right? Which is, we don't really see that as much, I think, in the NBA compared to some other sports. Like I'm thinking of one of my Dodgers, like he's not the same like as Kike, but someone that historically has now looked like different players when it's the postseason, right? Tyreek's a little bit different because he's an all-star, he's all NBA capability, right? But I think I don't know. I think the ring, will say a lot, but I do agree with you that the Finals MVP is also going to say a lot because then it's like, okay, is Tyrese just a really good player on a really great team, or is it going to be Tyrese was the best player on a championship level team. And then you start that, whoa, is Tyrese Halliburton in the same talks as Giannis, as Tatum, as Jokic, right? Being the best player on a championship level team. So maybe the finals MVP does play a factor in, but I think no matter what, if this Pacers team beats this Thunder team, um, I think it's going to shake up the NBA world a lot. I think the implications from that are going to be seismic. We're going to see ripples of it throughout the entire league. Um, and yeah, just goes to show that sometimes maybe playing your game is all it takes. But we'll see how it kind of plays out, Matt. A lot of implications on the line for both sides. I think the NBA, if I'm just saying like they desperately want the Thunder to win, I think let Shea kind of take over as maybe that. I don't want to say he's going to be the face. I don't know if we're going to see a face of the league for a long, long time, honestly. But uh, Shea might start to creep up there as an all-time player if his run begins now. I think if he gets a 2 or 3 by the end of his career, like it's going to be interesting where we're going to put Shea when it's all said and done. Right. So yeah, man. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be a really fun finals to watch, really entertaining with these styles of play. Indiana kind of being that underdog. It'll be fun to cheer for them, but yeah.
Also, before we end finals talk, I guess we got to shout out Paul George for making this finals happen.
Shout out to Paul George for being the first domino in all this. Also, like if you're the Kings, Matt, how sick are you? Like if you're a Kings fan, I'd be pretty devastated, honestly. Like you have Tyrese, and then you pick
They chose
De'Aaron
Fox.
Fox, right, over him. Okay. Trade away Sabonis, right? And then it's like you bring in Levine. It's like, yeah, okay. Or I mean, you bring DeRozan first, and it's like, okay, not a crazy move. And then you bring Levine, and it's like, okay, still not making a huge difference. And then you let go of De'Aaron Fox after you chose to keep him over Tyrese. And it's kind of just like, I think that's just the slap in the face. But I'm sure Tyrese is very happy in Indiana. It seems like he's embraced the city. So good for him. But yeah, Matt, it'll be a fun finals to watch, I think. We'll see how it goes. All right. Well, on that note, we can kind of wrap our basketball and finals talk and get into some baseball because our teams played. We should have done something. We should have done a bet. We usually do a bet. Completely forgot about it, but we got the Yankees who took a trip to the West Coast to play the Dodgers. Uh, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Matt. I'm surprised we won the series. Um,
I'm
and
not.
but well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I was a little bit surprised. Um, just because we hadn't been playing like super, super well. But anyway, getting into the series, Matt, I mean, that first game was,
That one was the one that hurt the most.
yeah, I think if maybe I'll let you go since, it was a little bit more heartbreaking for you. But, um, yeah, that was a tough one. I think that was a tough one for you guys. Um, yeah.
It's like, I don't want to say it's like a World Series feeling, but it's just like you have this like one just disaster of an inning that just kind of just snowballs. That's what it was. I mean, really. I mean, they come out, they're like rocking Tony Gonsolin. I'm like, oh yeah, like this is we are here. We're trying to make a statement. Aaron Judge, homers, first inning. Also, that was really cool, not gonna lie. That Shohei and Aaron Judge homered in the first inning of a game. Pretty impressive stuff by both of
Oh,
them.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But even that, it's like, well, Aaron Judge homers, and then Shohei comes back, homers off of Max Fried. It's like, oh well, Dodgers are punching back. No, no, no. Like, we got thumped. Austin Wells, Trent Grisham, right? We punched. We kept punching. And anytime you have a 3-run lead, really, as you approach the latter half of the game with your ace pitcher on the mound, whom you have not lost with this entire season yet, it's kind of like you got to win that game, whether Max Fried finishes the game or not. Like that's just a game you have to win. It doesn't matter if it's the Dodgers, the Rockies. Like it doesn't matter who the other team is. That's just a game you have to win. And disaster happened. And the thing that was a little more frustrating was not in the sense that Max Fried got hit because I didn't expect him to be perfect the entire regular season. Like he's gonna have flaws and games where you just don't have it. Sucks that it's against the Dodgers, but that's just how baseball is. It's a long season. But as a manager, it's not over. Like Aaron Boone, it just whenever he manages against the Dodgers, it's like, does he just forget what his job is? Like just when I think, oh, he's doing so well this year, and then it's just I just question a lot of things that he did. Really, this entire series, it was just like, what the hell are you doing? As bad as that inning was, Dodgers up 6-5. It's 6-5. It's a 1-run game with 3 at bats to go. It's still anybody's game. As bad as that inning was in the 6th inning, you're still in it. And you come out in the 7th inning and you throw uh De Los Santos, who's in a sense just kind of a mop-up guy, when you have Devin Williams, you have Luke Weaver, who hasn't pitched for 3 days. So in the back of my head, you should be thinking, well, Williams can give you one. Weaver can give you one, maybe two, depending how the game goes. Like you have Mark Leiter. You got your A bullpen all lined up. You had an off day the previous day. Like it was just, you can be aggressive in that situation. Go try and win the game and get that first one. But when you send out De Los Santos in a run game, that just sends a message that you don't believe in your team that you can come back. And sure enough, he gets rocked, gives up a couple more runs. And then from there, it's like, well, that's it. Because 3-4 runs is a lot different than a 1-run game. Pitchers are going to pitch a little looser, be more aggressive, but in a 1-run game, they'll be a little tight. They don't want to make that one mistake that'll give up a tying home run. But we'll never know. But just disappointing in that first game because we had it and we let it slip away.
Yeah. That first game was a pretty good one. I was just like, honestly, I think the Dodgers have seen Fried enough throughout the years. Not the same guys, but I mean, we've run into Max Fried a bunch in,
The
the
Braves.
playoffs, with the Braves. So it's like I don't think it was that surprising necessarily. Um, but I obviously didn't think he'd get hit like that. But proud of how, like I said, kind of throughout the season, like this team doesn't quit. Even if they get down, they believe that they can come back and win every game. And it was a big win. I think just to get one win, I was like, okay, I'm happy. Even if we lose a series, at least it's not a sweep. Right? That's what I was thinking. Um, but I don't know what happened in the second game. Like Will Warren just didn't have it, and took
You see,
advantage of
I
it.
wasn't even really mad at that one because again, it's a long season. It just sucks that it's against the Dodgers, but sometimes you're gonna have those games. And then the Dodgers, it was just their day. Like, I don't know. I'm more sick about the Friday loss than the Saturday loss because if you think about it, yeah, you might lose the game on Saturday, but if you're smart and you manage the game properly, you can set yourself up and put yourself in a good position to win the next day. But what does Aaron Boone do? Let me go throw Luke Weaver in a 10-run deficit. Let me go throw Devin Williams for the hell of it. Like, what? What? Like, I truly do not get it. It was set up. That's the kind of game. Hey, Volpe, you want to pitch? You know, Ben Rice, you want to pitch? You guys want to pitch? Anybody want to pitch today? Like, like just throw the position players. You're down by 14, 15 runs, seventh, eighth inning. We're not coming back. Let's be realistic. Um, so whatever. The Dodgers can score 30 runs. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, you don't want to give up at bats. Like I think if you're getting killed, at least go in thinking, okay, let's score a couple runs late. I always think that makes a huge difference going into the next day, just to feel good about something because it's not a good day. You try to take some things that are positive. And all I could take out of it was, well, Aaron Judge had a good game because he had 2 home runs and no one's going to remember that. But the most egregious thing is Aaron Boone Friday in a 1-run game in the seventh inning. No, I'm not gonna pitch my A bullpen. I don't want to pitch them. Oh, but on Saturday, in a 15-run deficit, yeah, let me go throw my closer out there. Just for the hell of it. And then, oh, come to find out, look at where we are today. Luke Weaver is now on the IL, and I'm
Mhm.
not saying they said it was from his bullpen or he was warming up on the Sunday game. But if that is what caused Luke Weaver to just feel a little weird on Sunday and then he gets hurt, you should be fired. That's a fireable offense. Why are you pitching your closer when you're down 15?
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
nobody does that. And just imagine if Luke Weaver came out on Sunday or we get a report Sunday morning, oh, Luke Weaver has like tendonitis in his arm, or Devin Williams has some kind of elbow injury.
Well,
Just
isn't Weaver out now though?
he's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what if that is the true cause? Like, yeah, he got hurt in the bullpen on Sunday when he was warming up, but what if it was a trickle down effect? I don't know the reports enough, but I'm just saying you don't put your best reliever in that situation. Like, is Joe Torre gonna throw Mariano Rivera out when you're losing by 15 just because? No, like that just makes no sense. Heck, throw Brett Gardner on the mound and just tell him lob it over. Just lob it over. If you give up a home run, who cares? Just don't get hurt. But that is just, I have no words. I really have no words. I've never seen a manager do that ever.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
even know. Like, what do you even take away from that from the Dodgers? It was just like a good day. Like
yeah,
Will
just a
Warren
good
tipping
day
his
in the office.
pitches.
Just a good day in the office. But I should have seen the writing on the wall of that. Of course, we scored whatever 18. Well, I don't even know how many runs, and we're not going to score the next day. Like I could have told you that. I'm
Oh, that's the
not
Yankee way too.
surprised.
The
Not
torpedo
surprised
bats
at
come
all.
out one day and then they're dead the next day. I think
Yeah.
it was
So
ironic too because in my head it's like, oh my gosh, we're at 2 game. We lost the first 2 games, and we gotta face Yamamoto. It's like holy cow! And we got a guy throwing 85 on the mound. Like,
hmm
oh, we are so cooked. But
yeah,
baseball is weird sometimes, and Brian Yarbrough kind of saved the series in a sense for us. At least give us something
yeah.
to build
Ryan
off of.
Yarbrough. Who would have thought, man? Yeah,
And the bats came
but
out to play. They got Yoshi.
hmm yeah, he didn't look that good. The command wasn't there. The splitter just wasn't splitting, I guess. But yeah, not too concerned. I'm sure he'll bounce back with a good game. So not too concerned there, Matt. But yeah, it was a good series win for us. I mean, and honestly, even like that last game on Sunday, um, it's good to see like the Dodgers, they just don't give up, right? Like I've said that before now. Looked like it was dead in the water, and then next thing you know, oh, like there's some action now. But I mean, obviously they don't complete the comeback, but good to know that they can always kind of keep teams on their toes for the entire length of the game. So really good stuff from my Dodgers. Would have been nice to have the sweep, but I'm glad at least you got one game. So we would at least
Yeah.
give you one.
See, I'm thinking, well, we got the last one, but I say we should have got the Friday one. We let that one get away.
Mm,
We let that one get away. And it's kind of ironic that we leave LA and Tim Hill is on the mound giving high fives to everybody. Because, oh, what could have been? And look how funny it is. He strikes out Freddie Freeman.
yep, but not in the World Series because he didn't pitch. Uh, all right.
Thanks a lot, Boone.
Yeah, okay. I think I think that's a good recap of the series this far. I don't need to talk about today's game for the Dodgers, but uh, you just got to give a real quick shout out at least to the Rockies because they finally won 10 games. It only took them until June 2nd to win 10 games, Matt. Unbelievable stuff from the
Season starts
Rockies.
in March, too, technically.
Yeah. Um, so kind of insane when you think about it, but at least they're at double digits, which is nice, I
Woohoo!
guess. Yeah.
When are they
Okay.
going to get to 20?
Oh God. Let's hope they get there. Period. I think. Um, yeah. Dude, okay. Well, that's all I kind of have for baseball, Matt. We can cut it early and just get to some of our quick hitters here.
Alrighty.
So,
Jerry Jones Award winner this week. I'm going to give it to MLB, just MLB itself, for putting these really big games on Apple TV. Like,
yeah.
maybe a lot of people have Apple TV, but I don't know a lot of people that have Apple TV Plus. And it kind of sucks because you want to see Yankees Dodgers. You want to see these big time baseball games that are coming up on a Friday night. Like, come on. Like, we have to
Yeah,
listen to the
I'm with you.
radio. Like,
How
can you at
is
least put it
Yankees
on?
Dodgers so hard to watch? Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Like, put it on MLB Network or something. Like, I don't know. Like, even that, at least people have MLB Network. You can get an account. A free
Hmm.
account gives you the free game on
Yeah,
the TV. So it's like, come on, guys. Like, really? That's bad marketing by the MLB. It's like you have to take advantage of Yankees Dodgers, Yankees Red Sox, Dodgers
especially when they
Padres,
went back to back. Or I mean, Judge and Otani.
Yeah, of course, yeah, on Apple TV. It's like, well, we
Yeah,
no one could see it.
hmm
We had to hear it on the radio or see it on Twitter.
yeah.
Just bad marketing by the MLB. So, and it's funny, right? Yo, Fox, yeah, Fox gets the primetime game. And it's like, well, everyone turned off the TV after the second inning because the Dodgers were up by 11-12-0. So it was like, yeah, you guys blew it. That's what you guys get for putting on Apple TV.
Yeah, I agree. Um, okay, Matt. So I got a special fans tribute this week, and gotta send a shout out to Inside the NBA. On TNT, obviously Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck, and their whole team that they got over there. You know, it sometimes like listening to them talk about like just basketball, I'm like, I don't agree with all their takes, right? But I mean, I don't have to. But I don't think there's any denying the entertainment value that can come out of that show, right? The clips that are shared, um, with them now officially moving over to ESPN. Kind of two things I want to touch on, Matt. First, you know, I guess I'll share my concern first, and that's ESPN. Like, don't get me wrong, still love ESPN, but I think we've just seen a little bit of a decline in production. I don't know why that is necessarily, um, but it makes me a little nervous because I always thought like of ESPN as very button up and like very um gotta keep the image and keep the image of ESPN good. And then it's kind of inside the NBA where they just kind of do whatever, do whatever the fuck they want, honestly. So like it's a little interesting. I'm a little bit concerned. The one thing that gives me faith is that Pat McAfee still was able to run his show like how he wanted to for the most part, right? So I think if they can work around that chaos, I'm sure that this inside the NBA, team is still going to be really fun to watch. But um, yeah, I wanted to give them their flowers, Matt. On so that was my first thing. Second thing, I mean, I'm trying to think, but if you had like a favorite topic or moment or clip of them. I was like trying to think of my
Ooh,
favorite. There's
there's a
too
lot.
many. There's so many and they're so grouped up like Shaq falling over, how many times or there's like Shaq will say something that he thinks he's completely right, but he's wrong or something. But I think the all-time one, Matt, like it just has to be for me, Chuck versus the San Antonio women.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just so iconic and just so funny. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a ton of great moments there. But do you have a favorite one?
I was gonna say that, but then I was looking on Twitter too, and I was like, "Oh, these are funny." They showed the clip of Shaq. They played that game, like where's the NBA player? Like what team is he on? And then Shaq did the
The Guangdong
Gundam
Tigers.
Tigers for
Ni
Aaron
hao,
Brooks.
ni hao.
And then
Yeah.
even Kenny too. I was watching. It wasn't really like a funny one, but it was like a he challenged. I remember watching it live too. He challenged that 3-point contest guy, like the world
Oh
record
yeah.
guy, and just smacked him.
Yeah. There was that one, and then all of Charles's like um sus moments, I guess. Like he's not even trying, right? Or he's like, When
Or
a guy's banging you,
oh yeah,
you gotta spin off of him. But if a guy's banging and banging and banging, or
they have a whole complication, like
yeah,
a
the
whole
compilation of that
yeah.
stuff is so funny. Um, yeah,
Oh, there was
like
another funny one too.
all of his like sus moments where someone said something like, "Oh yeah, this team is coming," and Charles goes, "Yeah, speaking of coming," uh, and they're all like, "Whoa,
Even his
whoa."
his guarantees, like it's like
Oh,
how
the
many
guarantee.
guarantees?
Yeah, hilarious stuff. So it'll be fun. Hopefully, like the show's still fun. I'm sure it will be. I don't see why not, but
They
uh,
have to let them be themselves.
let them be themselves. I agree.
And it's all about money, right? And ratings. Like it's gonna bring in the ratings if you just let them
Oh,
do their thing.
for sure. Yeah. But yeah, end of an era for inside the NBA. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully ESPN doesn't mess it up. But
Yeah, please
that's all I
don't.
got, Matt. Yeah, for my fan tribute. So why don't you round us out with our sports fact?
All right. We're recording on June 2nd, so I'll go back to 1935 when future baseball Hall of Famer at the time, Babe Ruth announced his retirement at the age of 40. The great
Yeah,
Bambino,
Great Bambino. Okay, well that's cool.
1935.
Wow,
This is
it's a
also
long
the
time
the
ago.
I think it's the 15-year anniversary of Armando Galarraga's perfect
It's
game.
been 15 years already.
Yeah, I saw
That's
a Twitter clip
insane.
of it. I was like, "Ugh," and it still
Still pisses me
makes
off
me
to this
sick.
day. Yep,
Not even a Tigers fan, but it's like, man,
a perfect game too.
I know.
Oh, sickening. Okay. Well, on that note, Matt, we'll wrap it here. We will be back, so don't worry. Right, we still got some final shows to kind of send us out with a bang, but yeah. Uh yeah, we'll wrap it here. We'll check back in for a quick finals update probably next week. So not then just yet, and me and Matt will kind of plan out our last episode so that it's a fun one, but other than that, that's all we got for this week, everyone. So appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And as usual, stay safe. Have a good week, and we'll see you guys later.